Hi, welcome to Employco's HR Chat. I'm Rob Wilson, President and CEO of Employco, and with me is Jason Eisenhunt, our Vice President of HR.
Hi, everyone.
We try and get together once a week and talk about some trending topics that are touching our clients and touching the HR world, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. So this week's question, Jason, that's coming to us is, kids are going back to school or not going back to school. So we've got a mix of things, or they're going back hybrid, half day on, half day off, full day on, full day off. It becomes an HR issue for a lot of businesses.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard for employers, especially if there's going to be a hybrid or no in-person back in the fall. What do your employees do with that maybe as a single parent, or maybe both parents are working and they need to split the responsibility? Maybe something to start planning for now. If you offer the employee the ability to continue working remotely, or a new ability to remote, or start thinking about it now if you can redesign their work. And again, we can get into pay in a second for FFCRA pay, but in terms of working, and maybe if it's an employee that is a valued employee, and you may want to try and work around their remote work schedule to allow them to continue it if it's already been proven to be a good productivity saver thus far.
So we in our corporate office, we have about 50 employees, and we had 29% of our employees are back in our office. We've been back for about a month now, and we just had an all office call earlier today. And one of the things that we looked at and asked people is, do you know what your kids are doing yet, or what your kids' schools are? And across the board, it's a pretty mixed message. So as you're planning from an HR standpoint, it's one thing for the summer, but if this for the next semester, if it could be a big disruption for your office or workplace.
Yeah, and most school districts don't even have anything decided yet. It's probably going to be a last minute decision, and things could change pretty quickly if there's a resurgence that's unexpected in your local area, and the schools go from either hybrid or in person to all remote. Employers need to be kind of prepared for that and adjust on the fly.
And so, Jason, the part of the last few rounds of legislation was payment for somebody that either is taking care of someone that has COVID, or you have COVID-19 yourself, or if your kids are home. But that only lasts a couple weeks.
Yeah, so the FFCRA, Families First Coronavirus Response Act, allows for 2 weeks of pay for at 2/3 pay if you need to stay home with a child whose place of care or school is closed, and then an additional 10 weeks to match the FMLA 12 weeks of total. So employees who, and this was starting April 1st, so if employees who have been home for 12 weeks now taking care of their children may have already exhausted that 12 weeks of pay and the tax credit to the employer. But if they haven't, maybe a spouse was taking care of them. Keep that in mind for the fall closures if you have an employee who newly needs leave because of taking care of a child whose school is closed.
Right, because as you pointed out, those are annual numbers, and for most of us, we went on a stay-home order back in March. So those most people with kids have probably already used that time off.
Yeah, so you might need to start looking, if the employee's already exhausted that 12 weeks of pay under FFCRA, it might be PTO time. It might be give the employee an option of furlough for a couple weeks or a few weeks. Because if unemployment kicks back up, maybe not at the $600 per week level, but something that gets them manageable to maintain their standard of living, maybe they're okay being furloughed for a few weeks or months while they need to take care of their children.
Right, and so now is really the time to start planning, because your kids are going back to school or not, or remotely in August, and in some September, but most kids are going back late August. So now's the time from an HR standpoint to start that planning.
Yeah, if you ever have any questions about how the furlough works or FFCRA, please email us. I get those emails at hr@employco.com. We're here to help.
Happy to help anytime. Feel free to reach out, either Jason or myself. Connect with us on LinkedIn if you, as Jason said, he's at hr@employco.com. I'm at Rob Wilson at employco.com. So happy to help answer any questions anytime.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.